Hey, and welcome back. And I've got with me Trickman Terry. And how do you say your last name, Terry? Minich?
It's
Minich?
it's actually Minnick.
Minich.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and Terry's one of those guys that's been around in the gaming community for quite a while now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a job working at Electronic Gaming Monthly for a good 10-year stint. So I was there from 1991 to 2001, and yeah, and then I worked a regular job, but I kind of stayed within the realm of the industry, kind of just checking it out, making sure that I wanted to keep maybe doing something in there, and ended up. Forming an LLC with another ex EGMer, actually two ex EGMers, called Retroids, and that's a parent company. And then the website we developed is called VGEVO, and it stands for Video Game Evolution. And
Yeah.
that's kind of what we're doing now, and we've got basically two properties we're working on, and one of them is that website, and the other one is kind of to be determined. So we're kind of just having a go at it, having fun with it, and kind of seeing where it goes.
Yeah. Yeah. So just a little, when did you get started? I know you were in EGM, we say in the 90s, right? The early 91, you said?
Yeah,
Now, were you in like the gaming scene before that? I mean, Steve Harris was the guy who founded EGM, correct?
right, right,
And he was hanging out with Billy Mitchell and those guys back in the day.
right. Yeah,
Yeah. So
they were all part of that crew with Walter Day, and, under Walter Day, and basically within that realm when excuse me. When Twin Galaxies Arcade was in existence in Ottumwa, Iowa, uh, that's when that whole craze came about, where high scores were pretty much born, and
okay.
then a whole bunch of people just collaborated and gathered, gamers from all over the country gathered together, and went to that arcade, and friendships were made, and kind of the rest is history.
So how did you get started with EGM?
I went to a local trade show in Illinois. Uh, that basically you just took a duffel bag full of your games. This was around when uh, Genesis was new, and Super Nintendo was not quite out yet, and TurboGrafx was still in there. Uh, NES was kind of just kind of starting to get old.
Yeah.
16-bit was kind of taking over, and yeah, I was totally into video games, and I was a Commodore kid, really. I really loved Commodore 64 and Amiga, and those were my favorites. And then consoles came after that, and I was like, I could get into these consoles. They're pretty fun too. So I got into those, and yeah, I started collecting, and then amassed kind of a library of carts, and when they had these local trade shows, they were in like high school gyms, I'd say.
Yeah.
It would be like a game store would put on something. You'd have to pay them $10 to get in, and then you say, okay, well, some people got a table, some people that had a lot of stuff would pay a little more and get a table, and then people would walk around, trade show style, but this was like really just a small gathering of locals doing it. Over there at one of these, Steve Harris had a table, and he was signing up people to be writers and editors over at EGM. Pretty interesting way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
You're gonna get some real gamers there.
yeah, exactly, and that's what he was really looking for. He was like, well, gamers are going to be the first and foremost. They got to be able to play games. Writing is second nature. And that's kind of the industry's kind of turned around and gone like this.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's like, we don't care if you play games, but if you can write,
Yeah.
So, but it was always gamers first, and that's kind of where I came in. I was like, oh, this is cool. But I did study. I had a minor in English anyway, so that kind of helped. So so I was able to write. So that was a big help to getting in there. So yeah, signed up, and then I was working at EB Games at the time. Actually, it was called Electronics Boutique at the time.
Oh yeah.
And it was not too far from the Lombard, Illinois EGM offices, and so I was like, well, should I bug them? Yeah, sure, I'll bug them. And so I would, I would be at work, taking a break and, calling them, having EGM, like right in my hand as I did it. And I was like, well, I'd really like to get in there. I'd really like to get in there and, kind of see if you guys need anybody else to, I mean, you're looking for people, and I'm available, so give me a chance. So I bugged them for a while, and then finally they said, okay, come on in for an interview, and tested on games. Basically it was you had to actually be able to play. It was like if you couldn't press the controller right and jump, that's not for you. You're not going to be able to do this. If you can't play Mario Brothers. So. If you don't know what you're doing, yeah, if you don't know what you're doing with games, you're not going to get in here. You're not going to be, very comfortable here. So, that was the first and foremost thing that they were looking for, was gamers, and I fit the bill on that one just fine. And I loved video games from being from a kid on, through that time, and still do to this day. So
yeah. So we pull out the beers.
Yeah, let's pull them up.
Okay. So I got with me today. This is one of my new favorites that I have. This is a 6-point sweet action. It's brewed in Brooklyn, New York. It doesn't say what it is, but actually through Untapped, I found it's a cream ale. Now, I'm a huge fan of a local beer called Genesee Cream Ale. Okay. And this is like makes that, but way better. I don't know. It's just cream. This is like a fantastic cream ale. So I'm gonna have one of these right here. I got a couple other here too. So awesome. But yeah, so we can pour it in.
There it goes.
Yeah. Gonna wait. It's got to sit a little bit there because this cream ales get a huge head on them.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's gonna sit for a little while.
Yeah. So yeah, I used to. I was telling a guy this in the previous one that I worked at a ski area and was teaching skiing and snowboarding, and after I was done, I'd go in the bar and get a pitcher of cream ale, Jenny Cream Ale. That was great.
Excellent.
It was ridiculously cheap. I think it was like $5 for a pitcher of beer.
Wow.
Like that.
Yeah, that's super cheap.
Yeah. Pardon me, that's my phone. Okay. I'm not going to mute that right now because that is going to be distracting. There you go. All right, so what do you have, Terry?
Well, I have something called Elliot Ness
That's awesome.
From Great Lakes Brewing Company. This is also this is a Cleveland, Ohio beer, and Cleveland rocks. A handcrafted amber lager. It's a gold medal winner from the World Beer Championships, so I thought, well, can't go wrong with that. And plus, I really like a lager, especially amber color ones are very, very nice and tasty.
I'm a lager fan myself.
Yeah. So I will take my cool Borders.
That's awesome.
Bottle opener.
You get all your paraphernalia, your gaming paraphernalia.
Yeah, might as well. Yeah. Open that up.
It's real. I didn't notice this before. This has got a really awesome. Let me pour the rest in here and show you this. That head is really. I don't know if you can see this. Check out the barcode on that. The Statue of Liberty.
Oh, there it is. There it is. Yeah, I see it.
Yeah. That's an awesome barcode.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
All right.
You see, it's still got a massive head on it.
Oh my gosh, still. That's crazy.
Yeah.
The glass I'm using is from Belkin beer, and it's from Belize.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did you go to Belize?
Yes, I was actually in Belize and picked up a whole bunch of these glasses, and I love these glasses. I mean, they're small, but they are really, really cool. I mean, I just love them.
That's really cool. I like it.
The way they look. So
Yeah, that's awesome.
Once in a while, I throw a beer in those, and
that's a nice pour there too.
There we go. Yeah. Let's see.
I'm just gonna drink this right through the head. Well, I've got to wait for you too, though.
No problem.
All right.
There we go. Not
Ready?
too bad. Very amber.
Here we go.
All
Cheers.
Right. Cheers.
Yeah, I love that stuff. It's like probably has some. Yeah, I got some of my mustache here. It's like it's got a little bit more hops in it than a regular cream ale would have.
Yeah.
It's like a piney hops. Joe would know more about those kinds of things, though.
Yeah, this is very smooth, but it's got a little bit of a bite to it, so it's not bad.
Yeah. You know,
not bad.
What I want to get, there's this one. I don't know if you call it a beer because it's by a small town brewery out near Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
And it's called Not Your Father's Root Beer.
Root beer?
Yeah, it's a alcoholic root beer. I guess it's an ale.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a beer, right?
Yeah. Yes, I've heard of another one, and I can't think of who does it. New Glarus? No, I don't know. Maybe it's somebody in Wisconsin does a root beer that's alcoholic, and it's phenomenal.
Really?
So, yeah.
I'm a huge root beer fan.
Yeah, the alcoholic root beer is really, if you got a chance to try one or get one, definitely do it.
I didn't say this to everybody else, did I? That Guy and Joe will be joining us later on.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
So let's talk about your games you got behind you, actually.
Oh, yeah. I was like, well, might as well make it atmospheric a little bit.
Yeah, no, it's great. I love it.
Yeah.
I love your Gorf there too.
Oh, you can see the Gorf.
I can see the Gorf.
Wow.
What's past the Gorf? What's the vertical orientation monitor one that's got the static thing on it?
You can actually see that too. Oh yeah. Wow, you can see. Wow. Okay, I didn't know how widescreen this went. I could only see a very small picture of myself, like in the corner. I didn't really notice it. That is actually a Tetris machine, but the reason it's vertical is because the cabinet is a dynamo cabinet.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's a Tetris and a dynamo, and it came to me like that, and I didn't want to ruin. We'll talk about that first, might as well. I didn't want to ruin the control panel because I've never seen a cleaner Tetris in my life. I mean, most of those were, if not all of them. I don't know. This is debatable. Whether they were conversions or not.
Yeah.
Most people say that every single one was a conversion. I'm of the belief that they actually took some dynamo cabinets, from like Atari, and just like made Tetrises and sent them out too. I think that might have happened. I mean, and if this wasn't that way, it sure as heck was an incredible job because everything looks like it was from the factory new in there. When
it looks clean.
When I opened it up, yeah. And now it's not so clean in there anymore because it's now my multi JAMA is what I do with it now. So I took the control panel off to preserve it so I can turn it right back to a Tetris anytime I want within about 10 minutes. I can do it, no problem.
Now is that HS1?
It's like a variety of HS1 because it doesn't have a board that a control panel that is metal. It's not a metal control panel. It's a wooden one.
It's like an earlier version.
Yeah, and it has a hinge on it. So what I was able to do was I got some MDF and drilled my own holes and I got my own sticks and buttons and I turned it into something that would be able to be more compatible with more games because Tetris only had 3-way controls. You don't need up, and so it only had 3-way.
You kidding me?
No,
I didn't realize it.
Yeah, that was it. And it only had 1 button per player, and I'm like, well, that's not going to be conducive to much, especially if this is a dynamo cab that I can do more with. So I just decided to make my own control panel and preserve the other one and put it in the back, and so I did that, and it has a 4-way in the middle, and 2 8-ways on the side, and 3 buttons apiece. So it's able to do a whole lot more.
Yeah, it's great. It's a good idea.
Yeah, so the reason it's vertical, it's usually horizontal, but the reason it's vertical now is because it's got a vertical game in it.
Yeah.
So that's it.
No, that's real smart. And the dynamos are a great cabinet for doing that kind of thing too.
Yeah, I don't have to rip anything else apart, and I wouldn't anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, so the only thing I had to change out was the control panel, and that's proprietary. So I didn't rip anything apart there either. So that's it. I can turn it back anytime I want.
Yeah, I've got an HS5 right. It's behind me, like over there. And I've got that. When I got that, it had a Naomi in it, so it's still got a Naomi in it. And
nice.
As far as I can tell, at least, I mean, it did have at one point a third strike board in it.
Oh, okay.
And so then it got converted. It was actually down on what's the? Can't think of the name of the place. Down New York City, that area. There's like a Coney Island. It was on an arcade in Coney Island, and I picked it up. It was actually made its way almost to me, and some guy had like gone to auction and bought like 15 games, or I don't know, it was more like that. It was more like 50 games, and he was selling them all, and he had ridiculous prices on most of them. They like $1,000, $500. And I stopped over his place, and I was like, well, these games you're not going to be able to, because he was going to open an arcade, but it just didn't pan out for him, and he was trying to get rid of the games. And I just went through, and I'm like, well, this is what this is worth, this is what this is worth, and I just went through and helped him kind of, price them right, not in a way that's like ridiculous or anything like that, but just help him.
The final frontier. These are the voyages of the Starship.
But
its continuing mission.
He'll shut
to
him.
explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilization.
Hi, Patrick. I didn't know you were here. Wow, nice to meet you.
Yeah, I love it too, because if you go up and you pull the trigger on it, it'll make a phaser sound, and if you press one of the flippers, Picard will say, it'll make the doorbell sound, and he'll say, "Come." I can do that right now, matter of fact.
Come.
Nice.
Like right out of the show. So yeah, that's a nice dynamo. I didn't know Gorf did that.
Yeah, you move the controller in it, and it goes brr, insert coin. And yeah, and now, I mean, I had it on silent, but now when it goes through its rotation, you'll hear the sounds through one rotation. You can kind of hear it.
Yeah, I can hear it. Yep.
Yeah. It goes through one rotation of its demo mode, and then it'll shut up again. So
yeah, I've got my collection of Midway games over here. The space shooters. I'm just gonna have my camera over here. So I've got the Space Invaders, Ga Plus, Galaga, Galaxian, and there's the one that's gonna be a Galaga 88. It's not. It's not completely finished yet. It's one of those project games.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it works. I can actually play it, even though there's no T-molding on it, no marquee, nothing else on it. It's just a bare. It's like a Galaxian stripped of bare wood.
It's all right. We all gotta start somewhere.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, what else do you want to know about?
Well, let's see what else you got. Your Rolling Thunder there. That's Gyrus and the Q-Bert. I see a Centipede.
Yep. The Cabaret.
Oh, it's a Cabaret. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see it.
Nice.
Yep.
Did you get the sire for that one?
No. No, that is sans side art right now.
Yeah.
And I think it's got the Irish bezel on it too.
That's interesting. It really is.
Got another call.
No, that's me. That's my phone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's a separate phone. I got two phones down here.
Okay.
Turn that one down. All right. There we go. That one's muted too. All right.
All right. Cool.
So you started at EGM in 1991.
Yes, sir.
And were you involved in the? You told me about this before, but for everybody else, the Sheng Long.
Sheng Long.
Sheng Long. Yeah.
The Sheng Long trick.
Yes.
Yeah. That was in my section of EGM. That was in the tricks of the trade section. And actually the guy that I'm that's partners in the company I'm in. He's actually the creator of the trick, and so he did all the graphics, Photoshop, of course. You know, think of this 1991 Photoshop. Not a whole lot is known, so you know.
That's a lot of work there.
Yeah. So there was a lot of contributing factors. A lot of little ideas went into it. You know, different people were like, oh, maybe you could do this and maybe you could do that. But you know, I'd still say, you know, in the 90th percentile, that was still Ken's. You know, this is Ken's baby, Ken's idea. You know, that he was the Sushi X. You know, he was Sushi X, and he was the guy that you know, pretty much invented Sheng Long. And you know, Capcom still to this day will not admit anything that they, you know, did anything of like maybe like, you know, when, you know, something was borrowed when like a couple more versions came out, and Akuma did almost the same thing that we said that, you know, happened with Sheng Long, and it's just like there was a lot of things that I was like, this looks a little familiar, doesn't it? Yeah, it does.
Totally. I just remember I remember reading that, and I was like getting so excited. I think I was actually like going like this reading it, and then at the bottom it says, like, it gives you a kind of like lets you in that it's an April Fool's trick, right? There's like some kind of.
Well, there's.
I still have it. I mean, I got all of them here. I just.
Yeah. There's two major hints that it's not real. Well, you know, three really. I mean, number one, it's impossible to do what we ask in the trick in itself, and even if you could do it, and maybe somebody actually did, it's never going to work because it's not programmed in. Let's see, the name at the bottom of it of the person who sent it in is W.A. Stokins. So it was Waystokins. W.A. Stokins. Waystokins.
Yeah.
And from Fold Again, which could be Fooled Again, H.A., which is no state at all. You know, Hawaii is H.I. So
yeah.
So it was like Fooled Again, ha. So Waystokins from Fooled Again, ha, sent in the trick, and so it's like, yeah. So
I think that's what.
So there's number one, and number two was the thing that I put on the bottom. Win a free game from AGM by, you know, there's some kind of April Fool joke in this issue. Maybe you can find it, and it's right above it. So you know, it was kind of like, hey, this is right in front of your face, people. If you can't see it.
And that was the first April Fool joke that you guys did, right?
No, there was one before it. Simon Belmont in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for Nintendo.
Okay. Yeah, I have every issue starting with the one with Batman on the cover, the NES Batman one.
Yeah.
I love that magazine. I would be waiting for that when that came. I was so excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just not like that anymore. You know, it's the.
No, it's all changed. The internet changed everything. I mean, really.
I mean, it's better in some ways, but I don't know. There's something great about getting a magazine in the mail. And you guys, the thing I always remember is that EGM, before I got EGM, I'd go buy a video game, and it would, you know, you get one for your birthday, one for Christmas or something like that, or you have some money and you go buy one.
Right.
And You get the one you think you want because you read in like Nintendo Power or something else, or you just see an ad for it, and it's just terrible. You get this game, and it's just terrible. You just wasted like $60 on a game.
Yeah.
And then, you know, when you guys came around, it was like, oh, go to the review crew, and I would know, here's a good game. You know, like the actual read the reviews, and you knew they were going to be good. Buy the reviews, or at least decent. Maybe it might not be the game you like, but.
Yeah, but at least you could relate to maybe one or two of the reviewers.
Yeah.
You're like, oh yeah, you know, if you got maybe 5 or 6 issues and you kept reading the reviews, you were like, this guy kind of coincides with the games that I like, and then you could usually relate to somebody, and then, you know, you could kind of tell, okay, well, it's probably going to be a good game that I would like because this guy says so.
Exactly.
So, you know, I mean. And now, you know, it's kind of like that. You know, you could still find people that, you know, are in, you know, these, you know, big name outfits, you know, Kotaku, Giant Bomb, and all those, you know, that really relate, that you relate to, and then, you know, you're going to trust their reviews, and, you know, that's still prevalent. But I think, you know, there is something to be said about, you know, how it used to be.
Yeah.
So, you know, it was, you know, there really wasn't that much of it around. It was only, you know, EGM, Game Players, Game Pro, and maybe a handful of others, and then that was really about it. You had to rely on them, you know. And now it's, you know, hundreds upon hundreds of different, you know, places you can go to, you know, to find this out
and watch video of the game being played.
Or right. Yeah, now you can just rely on the video, and if you're like, ugh, I don't like that at all, you know, that's about it.
Yeah.
So.
Man, I've had so many. I mean, you know, the AVGN, the Angry Video Game Nerd. He pretty much expresses some of the frustration I had back in the days of the NES.
Yeah.
It's like one of the games that I just hated, and a lot of people like is RC Pro-Am. Now, granted, it's a decent game in terms of playing it, but
right.
it's about 5 minutes of entertainment, and you know, and then it's just repetitive at that.
Because there's a track, you just keep going around. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the same thing over. It's the same tracks, just like, oh, it's a little bit faster, a little bit harder. But I don't know. It just. I suppose if I didn't have to play that one game for 6 months, it might have been a different story.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, we could only afford so much. You know, we're kids. You know, we can only afford so much.
Yeah. I was fortunate to have my birthday in June, and, you know, between June and Christmas, I could, you know, get a game. You know, get a game in June, get a game in Christmas, but yeah. It's different nowadays. You can get tons of games.
Yeah.
So what kind of games do you play now? Do you stick to classic games, or are you into the new games?
I'm into everything, really. Everything I can. Now, there's a few things I don't prefer. You know, I mean, long drawn out RPGs. You know, it's just like there's no way I can invest the time.
Yeah.
But pretty much everything else, I'll give it a shot. I mean, there's, you know, I still collect systems, and I try to collect everything I can. I don't really, you know, I mean, there's games for systems that I just won't get just because, you know, I'll never play them, or, you know, I just don't care for them. But
you're not a completionist then.
I'm not a completionist, no, but I do like to get, you know, at least a halfway decent library for what I have.
Exactly.
But the completionist aspect is getting all the systems themselves, you know, not necessarily all the games.
Yeah, I completely understand that.
Yeah, so I will get, you know, I might see something that has eluded me for a long, long time, and I'm like, oh my gosh, here's a, you know, so and so, and, you know, that was released in 1979. I never saw one of these. I'm going to try to get it, and then, you know, and then I might get obsessive compulsive and try to get, you know, like, okay, I'm going to try to get maybe like 5 games for this, and then I'll go through months and months of trying to get, you know, if it's hard to get, I might, you know, just try to look for sales, or you know, if something's on eBay that is you know, a decent price or whatever. So, you know, things of that nature. So sometimes I'll get obsessive about like one thing at a time, But if I get obsessive about everything at a time, I'm broke. So there's no way I can do it.
I totally understand that. Yeah.
Yeah. So sometimes I'll go back to arcade and I'll be like, okay, I'm obsessive about arcade, and then I go on a binge on arcade, and then you won't see me around like KLOV for a while. That means I'm back on consoles again or something like that. So usually it's just and then we have our own community on VG Evo that tries to play games together, and the newest game is Destiny, and so everybody's playing Destiny right now, and I'll get online with that and play with people, or just try to do more missions on my own or whatever. I try to play. I actually do some console and arcade multiplayer with my wife too. So she's very much into couch co-op type of thing, or stand up in front of the arcade and play. So I do have a companion that does like some of the same things, which is cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's really cool. My wife and I would play Mario Kart Double Dash. And
yeah.
We still lament the fact that they don't have a Double Dash option in the last two console versions.
Nope.
Because we're unbeatable. And got a perfect score in every track on that one.
Nice.
Yeah, that's really hard to do. Get the all the points.
Right.
I guess I was going to say, in terms of consoles, there's a few that I've been actually looking for. I just picked up a 7800 for a friend of mine, who I'm going to be putting on the S-Video mod for it.
Okay.
And I need to get one for myself. I don't have an S7800 for some reason, and I want to get a Wonder Swan.
Okay.
Do you have Wonder Swan?
I do. I have a Wonder Swan Color. I don't have a Wonder Swan Crystal.
The Crystal seems to be the one to get.
Yeah, the Crystal seems to be the one to get. Yeah, that one I think had more games and better games and just better graphics overall.
The screen's better to see. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the Wonder Swan and Wonder Swan Color are pretty much. Yeah, they remind me of the Game Boy and the Game Boy Advance, the very first Game Boy Advance that didn't have the backlighting. Mm-hmm.
That's kind of how it is. There's no backlighting on this system. So, I have one of those. So yeah, there you go. There's another one. Now I'm gonna be like, okay, now I'm gonna be obsessing about Wonder Swan Crystal. I guess I gotta get one of those now.
I just started looking at it, and some of the games on it look pretty fantastic. Like, have you seen the Ghouls and Ghosts for it?
I have the old Wonder Swan Ghouls and Ghosts for, or maybe Ghouls and Ghosts.
The black and white one.
Yeah, the black and white one. Yeah, I have that.
That looks fantastic. I mean, it's black and white, but it kind of works for that game.
Yeah, that's the one I have. I have only 2 games for that system. So you see, I don't have too many games for that one. That and Crazy Climber. Oh,
Crazy Climber! I didn't know that came out for that.
Yeah, it's black and white Crazy Climber, but it looks and plays a lot like it, because the Wonder Swan has when you stand it upright,
the vertical orientation.
It has the 2 controls.
Yeah.
On either thumb, so you can really do the Crazy Climber, climbing with your thumbs. You can do it. So
yeah, Gunpei was really he really designed a cool system there.
Yeah. I
think the only real problem was the display on it.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, but the Ghouls and Ghosts looks awesome, because you'll be playing it. At least I'm just watching videos on YouTube, and it'll switch orientation, and like you'll be playing in vertical orientation, and like one of the bosses that's really cool is you're actually rappelling down a cliff on a rope, and you're attacking the boss.
Yeah.
And that just looks really awesome. It's just
it's definitely different than all the other ones I've seen.
Yeah, but it's by Capcom. I mean, it's a Capcom game, and
yeah, you can't beat that.
Yeah.
That's my cat. If you hear noisy cat, he's wanting to be part of this. Be quiet.
It's like box cat sound.
Yeah, that's him.
Yes. So do you have a Bally arcade, the home arcade, whatever it is?
See, now you're naming a couple systems I don't have. So there you go. And now I'm gonna have to go. Okay, all right. Boom. There. Checklist. Got to get that one. Nope. Don't have a Bally.
Yeah.
Is that Bally Astrocade or
Astrocade? There's Bally Home Arcade. There's it had several different names through its lifetime.
Yeah.
it's a really interesting system with its pistol grip joysticks and
yeah, really strange.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
That and Fairchild Channel F had some weird controls too. I don't have one. I don't have one of those either. So, yeah, those are a few that I that have eluded me so far. But yeah, down the road, they just get sometimes kind of expensive, and then I might not have the money at the time. So I'm like, then I'd have to get really, I don't know, just obsessed and just really really want to concentrate on getting those exact things at that time. And sometimes when Midwest Gaming Classic comes around, that's and that's in Wisconsin. Usually around March or April every year. And when that comes around, that's when I start getting the list together in my head, and I'm like, okay, I think I want to look for this, and I think I want to look for that, and see what I can find.
So it's not just arcades at the Midwest Gaming Classic.
No, it's everything.
That's awesome.
Even new systems, are there too, which is nice. Because I guess their mantra is, something's classic to everyone, even kids.
Yeah.
So
I heard that there were people running around with Mario cat ears at this year's one.
Yep, I got my cat ears. Do you want me to put mine on? I can.
You got them right there.
They're over there, but I can go get them.
Yeah, that's pretty fun.
Yeah.
I'm more of when it comes to collecting, I'm kind of an opportunist, collecting those kind of systems that I don't have.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just off the top of my head, like I got my Virtual Boy, I got that at Blockbuster when they were clearancing them out, and it's got a cool hard plastic case that it came in.
Nice.
And I bought like almost every game that they had there at the time, and the games were so cheap.
Right.
I got my Neo Geo Pocket Color. I have like 3 of them.
I have 2 of them.
They were. I got one back when they first started moving them out, and it got an Electronic Boutique.
Right.
And then I bought 2 more of them at Walmart when they were like $25 each.
Nice.
Yeah, and so I've got a bunch of games that, when it comes to the games for it, really it's what is it? Match of Millennium. That game, I just love that game. I could play that anytime. It's just such a great game on that system.
Yeah.
Metal Slugs are good and stuff.
Sure.
And let's see what other ones. Oh, I got a 3DO local flea market by me. I paid like $30. I got a 3DO with like 50 games. A stack of 50. Yeah.
That's really good.
And in that stack of games was Plumbers Don't Wear Ties. And that was just after AVGN had done his review of it. So I turned around and I sold that for $100.
Oh my gosh.
I played it first. It's such a terrible game.
It's awful.
And in that stack also was you know the Vivid porn videos? Okay. They're like softcore porn things. And I didn't want those. And so I think I sold those. There was like 3 of them in there, and I sold those for $100 as well.
Nice.
So I paid $30 for the system, and I got $200 out of it. And I got my favorite game for it because my buddy had Star Control 2 on his, and we used to play that all the time. I love Star Control on the Genesis, which was apparently Amiga game first. And so getting Star Control 2, having that myself was just awesome. But things like that, I got a Commodore 64. With a printer, a modem, and everything for $10 with the Commodore monitor at the yard sale.
Yeah, I have probably about 4 Commodore monitors. They're great.
Yeah, they are, aren't they?
They're really, really nice. Yeah, you can run RGB through. Just hook anything you want up to RGB on them, which is great. Yeah. Yeah,
actually, it's funny you say that because it was EGM that actually told me about that. I think it was that Batman issue talking about those Commodore monitors.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's one of those things I remember.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I pick up systems when they're really like I'll see one, it's like, oh, that's a great deal, and I'll get these great deals, and I'll be like, oh, this is awesome. It's like once a year or some kind of thing.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I always keep my eye open for something. Somewhere someone has something, and there are deals to be had. You don't have to rely on eBay and eBay prices for everything. People are just like moaning and groaning and going, everything's so expensive on eBay, and they're right. People have jacked up prices for like stupid things, like
it's insane.
loose cartridges $100. I'm like, what? Come on, what? Like 2 years ago, that was $3. I mean, what are you doing? What is this? This is nuts. So,
some of those prices are ridiculous. I mean, some of them make sense. You know, like the what's the Earthbound? I just got an Earthbound.
Yeah.
$50 loose, I think, like that around there.
Yeah.
And that was another one. I got that same flea market antique shop guy.
Mm-hmm.
Just recently got that with a Super Nintendo and a bunch of other things. That and Chrono Trigger. I think I paid $30 for that as well.
That's not bad at all. Yeah. I mean, that's really good.
Yeah. Just check out my videos. It's on there. I mean, if you want to look at it.
Yeah. I mean, that's more reasonable. I mean, that's, you know, I mean, they're older games, you know. I mean, yeah, I understand things go up in value, but some of this is just like ridiculous. I mean, you go into KLOV and you'll see a thread of like ridiculous console prices and things like that. You know, there's a whole thread on it, and you know, I've joined in there too, and I'm like, what, this is ridiculous. Why is this so expensive? But you know, that's the market.
And you have some of them too, right? Don't you?
Yeah. Some of them just like, I guess I'll keep that in the box, and I won't play that for a while, and then we'll see what happens with it. Yeah.
It's like some of these things are kind of funny too, like Street Fighter 2 turbo boards.
Yeah.
They went from being like $30.
Yeah.
Just 2 years ago, $30.
Yeah.
Now they're over 100.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, there's so many of them.
Yeah.
It's not like it's like.
I know. Yeah, it's just the way wherever the market goes, and I don't understand how it gets that way, or what makes something extremely popular. You know, I understand the keyword popularity after Wreck-It Ralph. I understand certain, like Tron, after Tron came out, and or like the new Tron came out, Trons went up and everything, and but some other stuff goes up for other really weird reasons, and I don't know why. Especially boards. Boards I don't understand. Full games I understand, but boards sometimes I can't understand them unless they're like super rare Japanese. This only came out over here and costs a lot of money because it's from Singapore or something. I don't know. So and you never saw it in the States or whatever. I understand that. Imports have always been expensive. Even for carts, even back in the day. But it's just like these American boards that people have seen like a couple hundred of, and it's like now it's jacked up. Why? I don't know. It's just really strange.
Yeah, it's like two things. One, that Galga 88 that I have.
There's one.
Yeah, I sent you the link to that one. That was actually pretty cheap because I paid almost $400 for the board that I got. After shipping and everything. That was about 2 years ago. Now, how much was the one that was up there?
It was like $255, something like that.
Yeah, that was actually a pretty good price.
Yeah. I'm glad I did get mine, and I got it a little while ago, and I probably paid probably a little over $100 for it. So
that's a great price. That's
not
awesome.
Too bad. Maybe between $1 and $150, I know. So it really wasn't like super awful, but it was just enough to where I'm like, I'm still cringing, but I'm going, yeah, but it's a really great game, so okay.
It's a great game. It's an awesome game. And you've got Cosmo Gang, the video.
I do? No.
Oh, you have the Super Nintendo version.
No, I have Super Nintendo version of that. Yeah.
It's a great game.
Yeah, I don't have the board on that one. Although the similarities are unbelievable. I mean, that Super Nintendo one is so close.
Oh, it's totally
to the real one. I mean, it's almost undetectable in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, like if you get the TurboGrafx 16 version of Galga 88, Galga 88, it's pretty close.
Yeah.
But it's there. You can tell the difference on that one.
Yeah, just a little. Yeah, I know, just enough. Enough. Especially, there's some scenes where there's like an alien that comes up too. That's not in Galga 90.
Yes.
So
the one that talks to you between the levels.
Yeah, he says something. Yeah. Maybe it's in Japanese. I don't know. But he says something.
I just a little while back I picked up. I'm just totally into those space shooters from that time frame, and I picked up Space Invaders '95: Attack of the Lunar Loonies.
Okay.
Have you played that game at all?
Yeah, I played it. Yeah, I've played it. I think it might have been emulated when I played it, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's kind of like you know how Cosmo Gang is to Galaga. It's kind of like Lunar Loonies is to Space Invaders. It's got characters from a bunch of different Taito games. So it's pretty cool game.
that's not the one that's on Space Invaders DX, is it?
No, it's not Space Invaders DX. No, that's just Space Invaders.
That one. Well, actually, DX has the bird from New Zealand Story as the ship.
Really?
Yeah. Check it out. It's pretty cool. And it has.
I think I can actually play YouTube videos from here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me just see here.
Yeah, check it out.
Yeah. Let me just try this.
I think that's the one. Unless I'm mistaken. I don't know. I've got it on my Arcade Legends machine, which is,
Yeah. I don't think I can. I don't know how to do this yet. You gotta add things to playlist. So I'm just gonna go back to the broadcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It might be DX. I don't know. If it's not, I'll look it up for you. I'll find out which one has the little bird from New Zealand Story, and I'll let you know.
Yeah. This one's got a dog, I think, and a cat in it or something, and a penguin, or it's got a bunch of different characters. It's that whole Paradis,
right.
kind of goofy. It's kind of like it's like Paradis a lot too, of version of Space Invaders. So it's pretty awesome though. It's a fun game. It's a lot of fun. Yeah. I think the only thing you got to play it without using continues. It's one of those kind of games.
Right.
Because if you continue, you can continue right through the game.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's the one thing about Galaga 88 I'm not too thrilled about.
I don't continue. I just play as far as I can.
I know. I'm so tempted to do it. I'm just like, no,
it's funny too because I haven't played it. Yeah, I haven't played it enough yet to beat the arcade version, but I've beat the TurboGrafx one, and that it's easier.
Yeah. The arcade one gets really hard. Really tough. Yeah.
It's surprising. And you think you power up your ship, and at some point you lose it, and you're like, and it gets a lot harder once you do that.
A lot, yeah. Because everybody's shooting at you, and then you've just got this little pea shooter back, and you're like, no.
I think the only thing that makes it is I have God Plus sitting right here too, and I don't know how much you played that one. That game
enough. Yeah.
That one's ridiculously hard. It's
tough, yeah.
That, and especially I had the Namco version. I bought the board originally, and I ended up getting a full cabinet, like about, maybe 6 months later, because it just happened to show up on Craigslist. I was like, I drove to Connecticut to get it. And I'm like, great, now I've got a full God Plus cabinet. I'll sell the board that I have. And at the time, I didn't know there was a difference between the Midway version and the Namco version, or that I had a Namco version, which has like the blood types and stuff. And so I sold it, and I used the money actually to pay for the Galaga 88 board.
Oh wow!
And it was there. I still need to throw a little more money into it, but and then I'm like playing the one on the cabinet, and it's so hard. And the actual Namco version, it's easier. But it's still hard. Both games are hard, but they made the Midway one ridiculously hard.
Wow.
Yeah, it's hard. Have you met a Crazy Kong fan, Fred?
Fred?
Yeah.
Yeah, Fred. Yeah, I know Fred. Yeah. I was like, I couldn't think.
Actually, he stopped over your place that one time you were doing a live broadcast. Remember that? Yeah.
Yep. Oh yeah.
I know Fred. He is amazing at God Plus. I mean, that guy's talented.
Yeah, he definitely has a talent for high scoring on games. He's good at just about anything he touches.
Yeah. He came over and he was playing on God Plus.
Yeah, he's good at Robotron. He's good at Donkey Kong. He's good at I don't know too many games he's not really good at.
No, he'll play Tron. And he just walks away from it because he just keep playing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's really cool.
Yeah, he is. Good guy.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So, why don't you talk a little bit about your new endeavors with, you know,
Yeah, Retroids and all that stuff. Well, it ended up being that Retroids was always going to be the parent company, and VG Evo was going to be the website, and that launched in 2007. And we just had Retroids as just the background name. Nobody really knew it, and one of the founders was not able to continue doing much work with us, and so he kind of just ended up just saying, well, he was either going to take a back seat or just not do it anymore, and we were okay with that. So it just ended up being Ken and myself, and so we just moved VG Evo forward for a number of years. And that started in 2007 at Midwest Gaming Classic. We launched over there. And then we built up a website, we built up a community, we built up a podcast network that had, I don't know if you've heard of PS Nation or PlayStation Nation before.
Yep. Yes.
Yeah, they started actually on a pod. Let's see, they met in the forums at a place called Team Fremont, and then. and then they moved over to VG Evo, and then we started a podcast network, and they were one of the first people to be in the podcast network. That went on for many years, and they broke off maybe about a year and a half, 2 years ago, and just went on their own.
Okay.
And but they did pretty much start over at VG Evo, so they were part of that network for quite a long time. They still show up every once in a while, and they show up in MGC and things like that, but it's just not as tight of a community relationship as it used to be. So like I said, they're broken off and they're doing stuff on their own. But we do have other podcasts in the network that have stuck around. Excuse me. Some have come in, some have come out. We've gotten some new ones in. So it ends up being like around 10-ish that are in the network, and so that keeps going. And then we just have community discussions through forums. We have a shout box. Oh, in 2010. VG Evo, well, there were a lot of problems with like trolls and things of that nature, and you've seen that before in forums.
Of course, it happens everywhere.
Yeah, it happens everywhere. A lot of people weren't happy with certain things, and then we kind of had to get out the band hammer and do some business. And a lot of people weren't happy with that either because because the trolls were the popular people, and that's why people were going to the site a lot of times. And so it's just like it's such a catch-22. It was really tough.
Yeah.
So we just decided that we wanted to change the name and kind of get a fresh slate. And so we turned into our parent name, which was Retroids, for maybe about 2.5, 3 years, and we tried to get the name to stick. And so many other people that were in the community were just like, "She was stuck with VG Evo," because that's what I'm used to. And so for years we tried to get it to stick, and it just really wasn't sticking. And so what we decided to do, and this is what we're doing now, is make Retroids the parent. We'll keep Retroids as the parent company, but make it its own site. So it'll be like its own parent site that just branches off to VG Evo and our third endeavor, our second endeavor, which is in the works, but we're not doing much with it right now. Excuse me. And so right now, a few months ago we moved back to VG Evo, and people were like, "What the heck happened? you pulled the switcheroo back again?" And we're just like, people wanted it back, so we just decided to do it. And it's still kind of getting there. It's in another transitional phase, and so we're trying some more new things. We're trying some new things with videos now, and we're going to be getting more up with some things that other people aren't really covering. So we're working on that. Editing is hard because it's just such a time-consuming thing to do.
Yeah, I know. Video editing.
Yeah, video editing is really, it's a brain buster. So yeah, it's tough. So we're slowly moving into that realm. We've got live video things going on with Twitch TV and things of that nature. So we're trying to move into the realm of the new and just kind of get away from the whole forums thing. Being like the main cusp of what we were. So we're just really trying new things and seeing what sticks, because really as soon as like within like 2007 to 2010. Facebook and Twitter just really took over the social media scene, and that really was it. That really took things away from a lot of places and forums and all kinds of things, and so a lot of our traffic went over to those places, and so it's really hard to maintain something that was, but you want it to be different. So it's an uphill battle. But you really have to kind of know, well, kind of stick with the times and move forward and see what works. And so that's what we're doing. We're kind of experimenting, seeing what works.
I mean, Facebook groups there's gaming groups on Facebook, and I don't know. That's not really. I'm not really into that. I mean, I'm members on a few of them, but I hardly go on Facebook at all. So I think it's still going to be a place for what you're doing. Another question for you is, you're actually listed as the cast on the Man vs. Snake movie.
Yes, I am. I'm going to be in that movie when it comes out. Hopefully this year. Oh wait, not. Hopefully next year. It's not going to be this year, so hopefully, early 2015. Keep your fingers crossed. Yeah, I will be in that. Yeah, I was helping Tim McVeigh do some of his runs.
So, oh, really?
Yeah.
I was wondering how you got involved. I don't want to spoil anything in the movie, but it was I didn't know exactly what your involvement in it was.
Yeah. Let's just say I was a helper in some of the runs, and so I haven't seen any of what was filmed either, so I have no idea. Not even in some of the previews that have been released. I'm not in any of them, so I still have no idea how I'm being represented, because and this was like 2009.
It's pretty old now, yeah.
That it happened, yeah. I'm like, I probably don't have any white in my beard at that time, so I'm just like, I'm like, wow, it's like, I got older since then, so we'll see. I'm gonna look at it and go, man, I was young then. It's gonna be kind of funny.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing that movie when it comes out.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So let me ask you another question here.
Yeah, sure.
What's your favorite video games? Favorite arcade games, and favorite arcade game, favorite home system, and favorite video game?
Whew. Okay. Not really represented right behind me, but there is a cabinet I have that I was looking for the longest time, because since I was a kid, I just remember this video game talking to me, and I was just like, oh my gosh, this thing talks, and it's rude, and it's really, really cool.
Sinistar?
Nope.
No?
Nope, even earlier. I'm talking about Berserk.
Okay, yeah.
I was a big fan of Berserk for the longest time, ever since I was a kid, and when I was finally getting into games and arcade game collecting and things of that nature, I put that on my Grail list that I wanted to get a Berserk. I didn't care what condition or whatever. Ended up getting one in pretty fair to good condition. It's it's still very solid. It's not the best looking one I've ever seen, but it's not bad. And I think I have to change the Wicco stick on it still. It's kind of loose, but it still plays just fine.
You give it a good home.
I gave it a good home, yeah. And it's actually got the what do I want to say? That the ZPU 1000 is that what it's called? The I don't know if this is right. The ZPU board, ZPPU.
Okay. Is it like a multi-board or something?
Well, it's not. Well, yeah, it kind of is. What they were able to do was to put the real Berserk ROMs and the real Frenzy ROMs on it at the same time. I don't know how they did it, but they did. So I can switch between just pressing player 1 and 2 between both the games on the system, which is nice.
That's nice. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, so I've got 2 games in one on the Berserk. I could probably move the camera over to it if I don't know if you could see it. I'll try.
Let's take a look at it.
What's that?
Yeah, let's take a look at it.
Yeah, okay. I don't know if it's. Let's see.
Yeah, I can see it there. Yep.
Is it there?
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah.
You got space shuttle.
It's over my space shuttle.
Yeah. Got a multi-Williams in the background there and asteroids.
Oh, that's the Arcade Legends.
Well, I see it. There's got an asteroids behind that, right?
Here, well, I don't know if it's... They'll beep when they do that. We have the yeah.
Nice.
Sorry.
No, I like seeing it.
Wait. Oh, this is coming up. Yeah. Fix these things.
All right, I like your display case there too. Is that a? Am I seeing a Klingon bird of prey in there?
No. Not a bird of prey. Sorry. I'm gonna try to.
I see the.
See that now?
Oh, that's awesome! I love it.
You see that now?
Yes, that is.
Yeah,
great.
there's the Berserk guy on the top.
Oh, that's amazing. I love it.
Let's see. We get the. I don't know if you can see the screen or not.
Yeah, I can see the screen. Yep. Now, is that a Pengu, or is that a Puyan behind there, behind the Arcade Legends?
Sorry, my earphones were off. What's that?
Is that a Pengu, or a Puyan that's behind your Arcade Legends?
A Pengo.
Pengo. Yeah,
that
the Capcom game, right? Is that what it is?
No,
Konami.
Sega.
Oh, it's a Sega? Okay, that's what it is.
Third time's the charm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, let's see.
I love the Berserk guy on top. That's great.
Yeah.
Is that Star Trek? No, is it? What is that? That's not Star Trek. What is that?
One of them's asteroids.
What's the left of the asteroids? SAT?
A SAR Search and Rescue. This one?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's SAR Search and Rescue.
And you got Dig Dug Cabaret.
Yeah, I just turned the rest of them on.
Yeah. And is that a Dig Dug Cabaret you have there too next to it?
Yep, that's a Cabaret Dig Dug.
Yeah, that's nice. Surprised you don't have it next to the centipede.
There's a reason for that, and that's because
It fits.
yeah. Number one, it fits. Number two, in that corner is my my electrical box, and it sits right above. Let's see, the electrical box door can actually open with that cabaret in that corner.
Perfect.
So if I keep it in that corner, it'll do. Yeah, exactly. Optimized for space.
Yeah.
To the right of the Pengo is an R-Type machine.
Oh, that's nice.
And so that's my only other one that you actually can't see, and besides the Space Shuttle pinball over by Berserk.
Yeah, John actually wanted me to trade him my Donkey Kong Cabaret for his R-Type. That he had a Ms. Pac-Man he got, and what's the other thing? It's a Duck. It wasn't Duck Hunt. It was one of those shooting versus games, not the shooting gallery one, whatever it is. I can't think of it now.
Hogan's Alley.
Hogan's Alley. Yep. He wanted me to trade my Donkey Kong Cabaret for it, and I couldn't do it. That and I didn't want 3 games for 1. I got enough games as it is here.
Yeah. I see.
Yeah, I love my Cabaret though, so it's hard to get rid of a. It's really, you can't get rid of a Cabaret, you know.
It's very hard to. No, yeah. I'd like to get more of them.
I've got a full-size Donkey Kong right here to my left,
and
then I've got the Cabaret Donkey Kong.
Oh, nice. That's cool.
Yeah.
Get back. There we go. Back to me.
All right. I'm just seeing here if Guy is home or not.
Yeah, the Star Search and Rescue is actually running a guerrilla war in it right now.
Do you have the Star Search and Rescue for it too?
I do.
Now, what kind of game is that?
Well, it's a rotary game. And
so it's an SNK?
SNK rotary. I think circa 1990. And it's kind of like an Event Horizon, Aliens type of deal where it's a vertical scrolling. Actually, you move your character forward for it to scroll, kind of like Ikari Wars and all them. The characters are a little bigger, and you got space weaponry. You're on a spaceship, and there's a bunch of people that have been infected and turned, into like these zombies, like from these aliens. And then so you're fighting like zombie people who have been turned, and then there's aliens on top of that too that come after you, and it's you shoot them and they just turn into this like big mess. It's like it's pretty cool. It's one I hadn't. Yeah, it's one I hadn't seen before, and I really wanted a rotary. So I was like, well, this is something I can actually switch out boards with since it's JAMA.
Yeah.
So I like to do that with this space, and try to get as much gaming use out of it as I can with what I have. That's why
you got like different control interfaces in each one. That's smart.
Yeah.
I think there's a kit so you can run run a 6-in-1. There's like someone's made a little board that's got a bunch of diodes on it, so you can use the rotary sticks and have a multi-switch. So you could have like a 6-in-1. You could put 6 rotary games into your cabinet if you wanted to.
Wow. Yeah, I'd have to find the space to put the actual boards in there.
Yeah, there's not enough room.
Yeah, well, maybe stacked up or something, but like the control panel pulls out. So I don't know if I could actually, and that's where the board fits right on top of that. I don't know if I could fit more boards on top of that.
No, probably not.
Yeah. Not for this setup.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's all right.
I have a 25-inch Bad Dudes cabinet, which is kind of, I guess, rare to find one like that.
Mm.
And it had been converted to a Mortal Kombat, but it still has the Bad Dudes overlay underneath the control panel.
Yeah.
If you look underneath it, but that's actually a Dynamo cabinet.
Okay.
And it says made by Dynamo for Data East, and I still got the JAMA harness in it. I just made like a shelf on the inside that just kind of sits inside the cabinet. I've got 6 boards inside there.
Very nice.
Yeah, and I call it my multi-slayer cabinet because I've got I got what I guess I just kind of call them Slayer games just because it's like, I don't know, you got like a sword usually. So I've got Gladiator. At first I got 3 title games. Gladiator, Rastan, and Kadash.
Yeah, I know Kadash.
And then I've got Black Tiger, Ghosts and Goblins, and Ghouls and Ghosts.
Wow.
So that's my multi-Slayer cabinet.
Excellent.
Yeah. I find it funny because when you have a switcher in a cabinet, you never really, I don't play it as much. If I had just one game in there, I'd turn it on and play it more often. I don't know if you've had that occurrence though.
It depends. It depends on what I'm into at the time. I mean, sometimes I'll be into more maze games than I am shooters, or vice versa. Or sometimes I'll be into pinball more.
Yeah.
So it all depends on the mood I'm in, really.
That arcade classics you have there, I played Rastan on that. That plays terrible on that. Some of the games play good, but that one is so slow. The audio's off on it. That's but like if you play Street Fighter, it's got Street Fighter on it, right? Yeah. Street Fighter plays pretty good on that one. Yeah. So did you buy that new, or you pick it up?
New, unfortunately. It was
Circus City?
No. Actually, that's kind of a good story to lead into. That cabinet was my gateway drug to the rest of the cabinet.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It was really going to be a solution cabinet because we had the downstairs. I mean, and this is all in the basement, by the way.
Yes.
And this was, it was a finished basement, but I really didn't have much in there, and I wanted to maybe do something, maybe get like a foosball table and some other things. I wanted to do something with it, and plus I maybe wanted to like an arcade game, and I was thinking of MAME at the time, but I wasn't sure about it, and I was like, I really don't want to go through A, the hassle, and B, the legality stuff, and all this other stuff. I kind of had a problem with just my conscience had a problem with it, and so I'm like, this is just too much to deal with. Got talked into by someone who was did like a local home arcade. I think it was actually called Home Arcade Corp or something of that nature. Well, it was a home arcade place that sold. They would fix up machines. This was before. This was probably like 2003, 2004, kind of when all those things started to get fresh in people's minds for collecting and stuff. And at least for me, it did. And there wasn't a whole lot of good stuff out there. People hadn't really developed MAME that well yet, and there really wasn't a whole lot of options, for that type of stuff. So you could do it, but usually it was like people doing sloppy stuff and sloppy work, and and if you did it on your own, it was going to turn out like crap. It was like might as well be in a latrine. It was like, this is garbage. Just throw it out to the curb. And I really didn't want to do that. I really was like, well, I wanted to check my options and do whatever. Came across this machine, and it was made professionally by a Chicago gaming company, and they're still in existence if you look them up.
Really?
Yeah, and they make professional looking cabinets, and they had all half controls, and a half trackball in the middle, and it had like this multi thing inside like a PC. It was really close to MAME. Have you ever seen Hyperspin before?
Yes.
Okay. Think of this as Hyperspin. This is like a preliminary Hyperspin. Hyperspin must have borrowed or completely ripped off this interface, because Arcade Legends has the exact interface of Hyperspin. It looks almost no different. It's really funny.
Yeah.
And this is back from like 2004, before Hyperspin even existed. So, this OS that runs this whole thing is called Joshua OS. It's not MAME. It's like a MAME. It's like an operating system on top of MAME or something of that nature. It kind of runs like MAME, but it runs fast. It runs faster, and it loads faster. I don't know how they did it, but they did a really good job in getting things to load on it. And I saw one of these things at the home arcade place, and I'm like, this runs, and at that time it was like 35 games, and I'm like, this runs Berserk and Street Fighter and all these things, and I was like drooling over it, and and it does. And at that time I was looking into ways to get a cabinet that I could work with down here, without breaking the bank, without breaking the bank. But that was the funny part. But this thing was really expensive, and my wife was like looking at me like salivating over this thing, and she's like, well, all right, and let me take you aside here for a second, and then she says, if this is something you really want, we can get it for you. You just basically have to give up around 10 years of birthday presents, Christmas presents, anniversary.
The Starship Enterprise. It's continuing.
There he is. All these things. And it was just like, if you're okay with that, maybe we can do that. And I was like, let me think about it. Okay. and then brought it home, and it was really cool. And I played with it for a good long time. And then I kind of noticed that, with all emulation, with the most emulation, I mean, you're playing games like Paperboy on there, and what the heck are you going to control Paperboy with joysticks and a trackball? You can't. Things of that nature. So a lot of these games on there really didn't control all that well.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, a good portion of them did. So, I can't knock it for what it does well, but I could knock it for what it didn't do well. And so I was like, well, okay. This is good enough for now. We'll see what happens. And then I found the Pengo in a resale shop in the furniture section, and it was really weird. I was like, what the heck is this doing in the furniture section? and it just happened to be. I think it was like marked at $600, and then they said, then there was a big sign that said, Wednesdays, half off everything that takes batteries or plugs in. And I'm like, what day is this? This is Wednesday. Oh my gosh! And so I was thinking, can I get this for half price? And then I went up to the person. I'm like, that counts, right? That counts on your thing. And then they went back to the manager. They're like, yeah, that counts. I'm like, done deal. Picked up for $300. Boom, done. Got my Penguin for $300. So that was my first real game, not emulated, but real game that came in. And from then on, it never stopped. Like every year since, I keep looking for something to either, now I'm at the point where I got to switch out. And it happened, unless I'm taking over, unless I'm either installing more breakers and taking over the rest of the basement, which my wife would not let me do. And there's no way. I mean, I got a nice big section here of games. This is plenty, and enough, to not drive her completely nuts. And and we can still, use this as, the rest of the basement as, an entertainment spot and, TV and things of that nature. But yeah, so that became the gateway drug for all the rest of the games that I have.
It's funny because when you first start out, I spent too much my first game, and then after that, you start finding.
I'm not even going to where I spent on that thing.
I know how much they sold for.
Yeah.
I was in Circuit City actually. I saw when they were clearancing them out, and they had the full price on them. But yeah, back then it was different though. It wasn't like, and you gotta get into it before, all of a sudden you start getting into the hobby, and then all of a sudden you find things for good deals. You look on Craigslist, you're kind of that opportunity knocks kind of thing.
Right.
You know, I've got in my basement. I got my Area 51, my Space Invaders, my Donkey Kong Jr., and Super Outrun. There's something else too. I got them for free.
There you go.
Yeah. And
Well,
then
I do have a cocktail over here that I got for $30.
That's a great deal.
That was and that had a weird version of Pac-Man in it. It was like the Pac-Man on Galaxian, like on a Galaxian board.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Really strange. And I ended up selling it to Fred because he's all into the.
I was gonna say Fred's into that.
Yeah,
That's
he's all into the cool bootlegs, and I did that twice with him. There was another game I found that was on. I guess they call them Phoenix. Are they Phoenix boards or no Falcon boards? I think
the Falcons. He loves the Falcons.
Yeah. I found 2 Falcons for him, and I sold him both Falcons, which is great. And then I ended up putting an eyes board inside the cocktail, and that's now my wife's favorite game. Is eyes.
That's great.
She loves eyes. So
that's a good game.
Yeah, so we have an ice cocktail.
I'm sitting at a cocktail right now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and this was a Space Invaders Part 2, originally a Japanese cabinet. So and
this is a Taito too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And when I got it, it was locked. And you couldn't get into it. The only thing that I could tell was it had a bootleg Donkey Kong instructions cards in it. And,
weird stuff.
That's the only thing I could tell about it, and it was SRW had it. He had cleared out a warehouse in Massachusetts, and so we plug it in, we turn it on, the screen comes on, but nothing shows up at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember what I paid almost nothing for it, and I got it home, and I grinded out the lock on the thing and opened it up, and it had this board in it. No idea what it was. And I cleaned it up, got it working. It turned out to be this game called Big Kong.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Which are pretty hard to find, I guess, but there's quite a few of them in this area. Steve, the guy I got it off of, actually found 2 more Big Kong boards himself.
Oh.
But it's really hard. It's really difficult if you play it, because when it plays like Donkey Kong. But when you start walking up the ramps, the second set of ladders, rather than just going up to the next level, it goes all the way up to the ladder below, the level below Donkey Kong. You can't get off going halfway up. So it's a really, really long ladder. Wow. And then you have to go over, and then normally you climb up to the top level, but no, you have to climb down to the level that above the one that you started off of before. You have to do this crazy, you go up, over, down, over, up, and up. It's like you take this crazy route to get up to the top. And meanwhile, you're walking up these huge ladders, and you have to make sure that the barrels don't come down at you at the time. And besides the barrels going down, like in Donkey Kong, they go down and they'll go back up. So they will chase you.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it's a really interesting game. So
weird.
Yeah, Fred likes it, and Fred's actually played it before somewhere at some point. He said.
Of course.
And it runs on Galaxian hardware as well.
Yep, there you go.
But the thing is that this, since it was a Space Invaders Part 2, has a color monitor in it. I'm guessing in Japan at some point they put a board in it. It's a bootleg Galaxian. so whoever put the Big Kong board on it installed the Big Kong kit on a bootleg Galaxian, which was meant for an actual Galaxian board. Like the 2 that Steve have are both on actual Namco Galaxian boards, but it works. So it's a close enough bootleg that it actually works.
Oh, not bad. Yeah. I mean, you can find those deals sometimes. Yeah, I found that at someone's garage sale, and I'm like, what is this? I mean, and at the time the colors were really off. Like Pac-Man was red and the ghosts were green, and I'm like, what is this weird thing? weird sounds, and I'm like, okay, whatever. But I was like, well, for $30, why not? I'll see what I can do with it. Yeah. So I ended up just modifying it because it was already modified. It was like I'm not ripping apart anything that wasn't already ripped apart. Yeah. So yeah.
So I guess it's getting kind of late. You probably want to get to bed, right?
Yeah, getting there. Yeah. Gotta get up in the morning. So
yeah. So you want to answer the last 2 questions?
Sure. Go for it.
Okay. It was your favorite console and then your favorite game overall.
Right. Okay. Console. Gosh. Wow. That is tough. That is really, really tough.
Well, if you only could have one of them, what one would it be?
Oh, man, oh, man. Boy. I want to say TurboGrafx 16 because it's amazing.
It is.
I might have to go with Super Nintendo, though.
I would take the TurboGrafx over top of the Super Nintendo.
The Super Nintendo?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so hard. Go ahead with your reason.
I've just played those Super Nintendo games over and over again, and you know, Super Nintendo's a great system, but it seems to me like a lot of the games that were on it, it felt like they just weren't as good as. I mean, Star Fox is great, but I'm just thinking like Super Ghouls and Ghosts.
Yeah.
Good game. I'd rather play the Genesis version.
Yeah.
Of Ghouls and Ghosts. I liked that game better.
Mm-hmm.
Just I could go through all those games. I'm like, well, the ones that got me excited, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I played that one out. It doesn't have a lot of replay value to it.
Right.
But I mean, like Zelda's good, but I've played that so much, and I guess that's kind of a biased thing because I played it so much. Mm-hmm. Where with the TurboGrafx, I think what it would be if I could have access to the Japanese library of games as well of the Turbo.
Yeah.
Because the American library is too small.
Yeah, I think that's the thing too. I mean, okay, well, system can I go Duo on it because Duo has then Duo because that has more to it.
Yeah,
I can do both card and CD. So so Turbo Duo.
Yeah,
that wins over Super Nintendo then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Turbo Duo.
Okay, so then your favorite game.
Oh, man. The one I keep going back to all the time, it has to be. I go back to a lot, but I'm trying to think of the one I could go back to all the time. The sequel to Superstar Soldier. That wasn't Final Soldier. It was Was it Final Soldier?
I don't know. I've not played that game. Seems like it's a game I'm going to play now.
Crap. I gotta see this Final Soldier because I thought I was getting the name wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's Final Soldier. Final Soldier is how like blazing. It starts out like blazing lasers. Like if you're going into
Oh, is Superstar Soldier, is that on the Wonder Swan as well?
I don't think it is.
There's some space shooter that's on, or vertical shooting game that's on the Wonder Swan.
If it is, it might be on the Crystal, and I'm not sure about Crystal.
Well, the Crystal, there's no Crystal particular games from what I understand. It's just the color or the black.
Oh, the color, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember if there was anything like that on there. There might have been. But the games, let's see, it started out like Blazing Lasers was the first one.
I played that one, yeah.
And then Superstar Soldier was the second one. That was like the sequel. And then it was, there were like two after that. And one was Final Soldier, and the other one was, I can't think of the last one's name, but I'm pretty sure it was Final Soldier. I could go get it and see which one it is.
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, real quick. Soldier Blade.
Soldier Blade. I've heard of that one as well. Yeah.
Soldier Blade.
All right. That's on the and that's on the TurboGrafx too.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's yeah. My favorite game. Couldn't think of the name of it though. But I was like, no, because there's so many in the series. I could, keeping it straight is weird. Yeah, I guess Final Soldier is like after this, but this is the one I would constantly play on the Turbo
Express.
The Turbo Express.
Yes.
All the time. I would just pop it in and be like, shooter. It's cool. I'm just playing it to death. I would just play
Galaga 80 is mine. Or Galaga 90. I'd sit there and play that on mine all the time.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
If I were to choose,
fun game.
Oh yeah. If I were to choose a favorite game, it's hard because my first instinct is to say Rastan because I love that game. But I think really what it comes down to is I love video pinball games.
Yeah.
And my favorite one, which is not actually the best of them all, but it just has the nostalgia. It really is pretty good. It's Revenge-Gator on the Game Boy.
I like that one.
Yeah, it's really good.
I like that one a lot.
Yeah. And then that's by HAL or HA. It's HAL, right?
Yeah.
HAL. Then they made Kirby's Pinball, which runs on the same basic engine as that one.
Yeah.
That one's good.
I like that one too.
Yeah, it's good. It's not as good as I would think as Revenge-Gator in terms of the board designs, but still very good. And then Pokemon Pinball on the Game Boy Color was the last one in the series running on that engine. And that one ran really good too.
Yep.
Then they had it on the Game Boy Advance. I have all the. I'm a video pinball freak, really. And of course, what is it? There's Devil's
Crush.
Devil's Crush and Alien Crush. Those are the ones I play
Crush.
on my Turbo. Yeah.
Yeah, those are great.
What's that?
How about Jackie Crush?
No, what is that?
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Another Crush that you didn't know about, probably. It's probably
it's in
going
the
to be
box.
annoying for the viewers going back and forth, but oh well. There's another Crush game.
Oh my gosh.
Jackie Crush. It's for
Super Famicom.
Yep.
Actually, I've heard of that actually.
Yep.
By Naxstat, which interesting.
Soft.
Or if you play the NES games that they made, it's called Taxstan. The reverse.
Well, reverse.
You ever played 8 Eyes?
I think so.
Yeah, I gotta get that game.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, Jackie Crush is good. I don't think it's as good as Devil's Crush, though. I like Devil's Crush better. Oh, Dragon's Fury. You get 2 of them. Wow. Yeah, I have. Yeah, I'm missing the box on mine, but I do have a Dragon's Fury. Yeah.
Yeah. I actually one's empty. Need a box?
Yeah. I've got. It's funny. I've got the carpet, no box on that one. And there you go. And there you go. But
yeah, actually, I bought it, and I got it home and it didn't work. I took it back to the game store. Like, oh, we got another one, and they were gonna throw away the game because it didn't work. They tried it out and didn't work as well.
Yeah.
And I'm like, before you throw away the game, can I have the box? So I got the box.
Nice.
See the hang tags ripped on it though.
Yeah, that happens.
If you want it, just give me your address. I'll mail it to you.
Sweet.
Okay, so then you have a box for it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Always like boxes.
Yeah, it's funny. This is cool too. This one came with codes.
Nah.
Somebody put their codes in there.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah. Yeah, but pretty much every video pinball game, I gotta have it if I see it.
How about you have a Game Boy Advance?
Yes.
How about Pinball of the Dead?
I have it.
Okay. What do you think about that one?
And the Sonic one, the other one that's got like
Sonic Spinball. Yeah.
Not Sonic Spinball.
Not that one.
It's got like Sonic and Samba de Amigo themed pinball table and stuff like that.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Yep. They came out at the same time.
Wow.
I think they're running the exact same engine. It's just got a different theme on it.
Right. Pinball
Yeah.
the Dead. That one's great.
Yeah, I love that one. And there's also the Mario pinball one, whatever it is. I forget what it's called.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
And-
can't think of the name either.
And then the Metroid Prime
Yeah, Metroid Prime Pinball
on the DS. That's great.
on the DS is very, very good.
Oh my god, I got such a high score on that one. It's ridiculous.
And you get the cart that rumbles on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fun too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh, there was a lot. I can't think of another one. There was some on Saturn. There was one on Saturn that was
V pinball or something? Was it virtual pinball or?
No, it was Last Gladiators.
Yeah.
Last
Gladiators
pinball is very good on Saturn.
I'll have to get that because my Saturn collection is somewhat limited. But
Yeah. If you can find Last Gladiators, that's a real good one. It's kind of got like the rock theme going on it too, like
cool.
the metal theme. So it's fun.
Yeah.
Very, very good.
Virtual Boy pinball too, the Galactic pinball. That's great.
Yeah, I do have a Virtual Boy. I found one too.
Yep.
Yeah. When they were clearancing them out.
Yep. So you want to end it now so you can get to bed?
Yeah, I think it's about time.
Yeah.
So.
Terry, I really appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Appreciate
even though Joe and Guy ended up stuck in other places, so.
It's all right.
But.
Yeah, we had a good time talking. I had a very good time talking to you. So.
Yeah.
Thank you for inviting me out. I really appreciate this. Thanks for having a beer with me.
Yeah. Thank you. It was great. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anything you want to plug or anything like that you want to say before we're done here, or? I mean, obviously, Retroids and VG Evo and.
Yeah. If you like, we have a small but friendly gaming community out there. There's a lot of gaming communities. I'm sure you could pick them out on a bunch of hands and fingers, but we're one of them. run by some ex-EGM editors, and we're called VG Evo, and it's at vgevo.com. And come check us out and see what our community is like. Maybe you'll like to join us and talk about games.
Yeah, and you have some You do events sometimes too, right?
Yeah. Our latest event coming is going to be the Extra Life 24-hour gaming session where we raise money to help sick kids in hospitals, and that's going to be a charity event, and that's coming. Yeah, October 24th. We're going to be doing that. So maybe check that out on VGEVO. We're going to be tweeting about that too. So follow us on Twitter as well, at VGEVO, and you'll find all the latest stuff that's going on the site.
Yeah,
so, there you go.
Thank you very much, Terry.
Thank you.
Maybe we'll do this again sometime if you want to do that.
Sounds good.
Okay.
I enjoyed talking to you.
I appreciate your time. It's very appreciated.
You're very welcome, and
okay.
Thank you very much.
Good evening.
All right.